Some used cars don't scare buyers away. They trap them. I've seen people walk away from obvious disasters. Things like smoke from the exhaust, engine knocking, gearboxes slipping. Those cars at least warn you. The dangerous ones are the ones that feel smooth, quiet and clean. The ones that make buyers lower their guard. Because sometimes the cleanest used car on the lot is the one hiding the biggest financial disaster. I'm a mechanic and this is Car Debrief. The first thing buyers get wrong is believing condition and cleanliness are the same thing. They're not. A seller can detail a car in a single afternoon, but neglect builds quietly over the years. Fresh tire shine doesn't fix missed oil changes. A polished dashboard doesn't fix overheating history. A spotless engine can actually be a warning sign, because sometimes sellers clean the engine for one reason: to hide leaks. And buyers fall for this constantly because emotionally the car feels safe. And that is a trap. The moment a buyer feels emotionally comfortable, they stop inspecting properly. They stop questioning things, and that's when expensive mistakes start. One of the biggest warning signs mechanics notice immediately is when the story of the car doesn't match the condition of the car. You'll hear things like, "It's only driven on weekends, it was owned by an old couple, and it's always been serviced." But then when you inspect it properly, you find cheap mismatched tires, a worn steering wheel, dry coolant stains, aftermarket parts everywhere, and service books that suddenly stop for 3 years. That story sounds careful, but the car tells a different story, and cars rarely lie. Another mistake buyers make is trusting a smooth test drive way too much. Modern cars are extremely good at hiding problems temporarily. A failing transmission can behave normal for the first 20 minutes. A weak cooling system may only overheat in traffic. An engine with heavy sludge can still idle quietly. Some of the most damaged engines I've seen started perfectly when they were cold, because damage wasn't noise anymore. It was wear. Internal wear buyers cannot see. That's why mechanics don't just look for current problems. We look for evidence of future problems. That changes everything, because ownership isn't about how the car feels today. It's about what happens 6 months later when repairs start stacking up. And this is where buyers emotionally trap themselves. They start justifying warning signs because they already imagined owning the car. And that is very dangerous. Once someone pictures themselves driving it home, logic starts disappearing. Suddenly, the oil leak becomes minor. The delayed shifting becomes probably normal. The vibration becomes just a wheel balance. And sellers know this. Experienced sellers don't sell cars mechanically. They sell relief. Relief that the search is finally over. Relief that the car looks good. Relief that somebody finally found the one. That emotional relief makes buyers ignore the risks they would normally walk away from immediately. And dealerships understand the psychology extremely well. That's why many used cars are shown wet after washes. Many interiors smell strongly of detailing chemicals. Why music is playing during inspections. Why salespeople keep conversations moving quickly. Because the longer the buyer stays emotional, the less analytical they become. And sometimes the most dangerous sentence a buyer can say is, "It just felt right." Mechanics almost never say that, because we've seen what happens after excitement disappears. And one of the biggest hidden disasters starts underneath the car. Most buyers barely look there, but underneath tells you the truth about ownership. Fresh oil everywhere, possible leak masking, crushed pinch welds, poor workshop history, heavy rust, water exposure, coolant residue, past overheating. And once overheating enters a car's history, everything changes. Because overheating damage doesn't always kill an engine immediately. Sometimes it weakens it slowly. Months later, the head gasket fails. Then coolant contamination starts. Then bearing damage. Then suddenly the owner is facing a repair bill that is worth more than the car. And the worst part, the car may have driven perfectly during the inspection. And that is what catches people. Used cars don't fail randomly. Most catastrophic failures started as ignored warnings long before the buyer owned the vehicle. Another thing buyers underestimate is seller timing. Mechanics pay attention to why somebody is selling, because people usually tolerate expensive problems right until the repair becomes unavoidable. The timing matters. If somebody just bought the car recently and is already selling it, that matters. If major servicing is approaching, that matters. If warning lights were recently cleared, that matters. Sometimes sellers aren't escaping a car, they're escaping a future repair bill, and buyers accidentally inherit it. That's why cheap used cars can become the most expensive cars people ever own. Not because of the purchase price, because of accumulated neglect. Neglect compounds. Missing oil changes become timing chain wear. Small coolant leaks become warped cylinder heads. Cheap suspension repairs become unsafe handling. And deferred maintenance spreads through a vehicle like debt. That's the part most buyers never see coming, especially first-time buyers. Because first-time buyers often shop emotionally first and then financially later. Mechanics do the opposite. We think, what will this cost me after ownership starts? That question alone eliminates a huge number of cars immediately. Because a cheap purchase price means absolutely nothing if the next 12 months destroy your bank account. And honestly, one of the smartest things a buyer can do is stop chasing the cleanest looking car. Start chasing the most honest one. A car with documented servicing, consistent ownership, quality tires, cold engine inspection, no rushed seller behavior, no suspicious explanations. That matters far more than shiny paint and dealership lighting, because the best used cars usually feel boring, predictable, consistent and transparent, not exciting. And ironically, the cars buyers become emotionally obsessed with are the ones that hurt them financially later. Because emotion is expensive in the used car market, and mechanics learn very quickly that the most dangerous used cars are rarely the ones that look broken. They're the ones that convince buyers that nothing is wrong.